When I got back from my trip, our housekeeper sued my husband and me. In the courtroom, Chloe's pregnancy was impossible to miss, and her voice shook with anger. Daniel Miller and his wife are trash. They pretended to hire me, lured me into their home, and tied me to the bed to hurt me. The baby I'm carrying is Daniel Miller's. Her mother, Martha, sobbed uncontrollably. These two monsters ruined my daughter's life. They should get the death penalty. The second she finished, the gallery blew up, people yelling insults at my husband and me. That scumbag didn't even show up. Lock him up. Yeah, and look at his wife. She's smiling. She's cold-blooded. Throw the book at them. Right then, I pulled out the evidence, and the whole room gasped. The moment I got home, I pulled out my phone and checked Snapchat. All of a sudden, I came across a cry for help post on a local forum. I tapped on it, and the title made my finger pause. My employer assaulted me. What do I do? The description below made me frown involuntarily. Shortly after I started as a live-in housekeeper, my boss said she was going on a trip and left me home alone. The moment she left, her husband came back. The words on a trip made me freeze for a second. I had just returned from a trip, and I had also hired a housekeeper. I scrolled down further. He dragged me into the bedroom. I was too scared to fight back. Afterward, he threatened me not to tell a soul. I'm terrified. Now I found out I'm pregnant, and the madam just got back. I don't know what to do. And when he assaulted me, he said his wife knew the whole time. The comment section was already blowing up. Call the police. Girl, don't let those beasts get away with it. Husband and wife working together? That's just sick. So much time has passed, it'll be hard to prove. I suggest you talk to the employers privately first. See if you can get compensation. I scrolled down further and saw that the poster had liked the last comment, and replied, thanks for the advice. I'll talk to them first. Just then, Chloe, who had been cleaning, suddenly spoke up. Stella, there's something I want to tell you. My heart sank, inexplicably linking it to the forum post I just read, but I kept my face calm. Sure, what is it? Her voice was soft, almost a whisper. I'm 3 months pregnant. It's Daniel's baby. I froze, my world tilting, the word absurd flashing through my mind. The Daniel she spoke of was my husband, Daniel Miller. I almost instinctively asked her, do you know what you're saying? Chloe nodded, tears welling in her eyes. Stella, don't worry. I'm not trying to ruin your marriage. Just give me $5 million for child support, plus another $2 million for damages. From now on, I won't bother you or Daniel again. It almost sounded reasonable, until you heard the number. Looking at her serious face, I only felt amusement, because I knew very well that my husband could never do such a thing. I took a breath, met her eyes, and said slow and clear, this is blackmail, and you won't get a dime from me. Chloe frowned slightly, looking at me. You're a woman, you should know no one would make this up. And let's be real, this kind of money is pocket change to you. I don't want this to get nasty. I let out a cold laugh. I can afford it, but I'm not a fool. Seeing that I wouldn't budge, Chloe's voice suddenly rose, her eyes sharp. You're really not paying? Fine, I'll put you on blast. Forums, social media, even your company. I'll post it everywhere. I met her gaze. Go ahead, bring it on. Chloe glared at me fiercely. Alright, let's see if you're still so tough in court. With that, she turned and slammed the door shut. Chloe posted an edited version of that conversation online, quickly causing a massive uproar. The post went viral, and the comment section was filled with insults against me. Sick couple, scumbags, accomplice. Less than a week later, I got served. On the day of the hearing, I arrived at the courthouse on time. The moment I stepped into the courtroom, I saw Chloe and her mother seated at the plaintiff's table. As I passed, Chloe hastily lowered her head, shoulders slightly hunched, looking frightened. Her mother pulled her close protectively, staring at me with venom. Don't be scared, Chloe, Mom's here. With so many people here today, those evil people will definitely get what's coming to them. I stopped in front of them, nodding in agreement. You're right. Evil people always get their comeuppance. Chloe's eyelashes fluttered. I said nothing more and walked straight to the defendant's table. The judge banged the gavel and called the court to order. The plaintiff's attorney, Mr. Davidson, stood first. Your Honor, we'd like to call the complainant to testify. Chloe sniffled, her voice catching as she began. Stella, no, Miss Miller. She lured me in with a job offer. At first, she said she lived alone and wanted me to prepare her meals and handle daily cleaning. After working for about a month, she said she was going on a trip and left me alone at home. Before she left, she gave me a drink. After I drank it, I felt dizzy. Then her husband came back and dragged me into the bedroom. As she spoke, tears streamed down her face. That man, he pinned me down on the bed, and he assaulted me. Chloe's words immediately ignited the courtroom. The public gallery was outraged. That's inhuman. This is clearly a conspiracy between husband and wife. Ignoring the insults, I stood up and spoke in a cold voice. My husband would absolutely never do such a thing. Then I looked at Chloe. Why didn't you go to the police right away? Chloe, still crying, replied. He said if I dared to tell anyone, he said he'd make our lives hell. I'm just an employee. I wouldn't dare go against people like you. It was later, when I found out I was pregnant, that I finally worked up the courage to come forward. A hushed murmur of discussion broke out in the gallery, with a few curses filtering through. Worse than an animal. The wife isn't any good either, protecting a rapist. Chloe's mother seized the opportunity to wail mournfully. My daughter's life is ruined forever. As she wiped away tears, a fleeting glint of triumph flashed in her eyes, aimed at me. I frowned deeply, raising my voice. You're lying. My husband couldn't possibly have raped you. Hearing this, Mr. Davidson immediately interjected. Your Honor, we'd like to submit evidence. Before everyone's eyes, he produced a USB drive and inserted it into a computer. After some adjustments, a recording played through the courtroom speakers. First, a sharp cry. Stella, help me. Then, a man's low, mocking chuckle. You're asking Stella for help? Looks like you still don't get it. Her leaving was just to clear the way for us. Just make me happy, and money, work, anything you want. Be a good girl. This was followed by Chloe's desperate sobs and sounds of struggle. No, please, let me go. I promise I won't say anything. Please. The recording ended abruptly with Chloe's piercing whimpers. Chloe was already covering her face, trembling and sobbing. Her mother shot to her feet, pointing at us and screaming. You hear that? These devils conspired together. They tricked my daughter into their home just to force her. The public gallery erupted in gasps, some people's eyes red with emotion. Those mother and daughter are so pathetic, to run into this pair of scumbag spouses. Arrest the woman too. Accomplices are despicable. Amidst the angry shouts, I clenched my fists. How can you prove that voice is my husband's? Mr. Davidson looked at me. The evidence is here. After a forensic voice analysis, there's a 95% match to Daniel Miller. Facing such evidence, I retorted emphatically. Impossible. That voice is not my husband's. Because I knew perfectly well that Chloe could never have met my husband. Mr. Davidson frowned deeply. Defendant, the evidence has been professionally authenticated. You can't just deny it and expect that to be enough. Chloe wiped away tears. That was when he he had me pinned down, I managed to hit record without him noticing. Every word, every cry is real. How can you still lie like this, even now? By the end, she was almost incoherent with sobs, her slender shoulders heaving violently, looking utterly pathetic. I let out another cold laugh. There are plenty of people in the world with similar voices. How can you be so sure it's my husband? Mr. Davidson looked at me and scoffed. Since the defendant finds the evidence unconvincing, I have a second piece of evidence. He lowered his head and continued to operate the computer. Moments later, the large screen at the front of the courtroom lit up. The screen flickered to life. It was security camera footage from my living room. From the evening I left home, the living room lights were dim, and a man opened the door and walked in. He walked directly towards Chloe, who was standing in the living room. You're Chloe? TSK, she didn't lie to me. You really are quite pretty. Before he finished speaking, he reached out and grabbed Chloe's wrist. The bottle in Chloe's hand fell to the floor, and she struggled weakly, her voice terrified. What are you doing? Let go. Help me. The man easily overpowered her resistance. After a few rough tugs, he actually lifted her over his shoulder and strode towards the bedroom. The door slammed shut with a bang. Immediately after, faint cries and sounds of struggle seeped from under the door, startlingly consistent with the previously played audio recording. The video ended there. Mr. Davidson turned to the entire courtroom, his voice heavy with grief. This is surveillance footage extracted from the defendant's home camera. After an expert comparison, the man's build and clothing matched Daniel Miller's. Then he turned to me. Defendant, are you still going to say this isn't Daniel Miller? The public gallery murmured with disbelief. That's damning. The footage is clear as day. She was so stubborn just now. Let's see how she spins it now. Someone even stood up excitedly and shouted. What's there to say to an accomplice with no conscience like her? Your Honor, convict them already. Let them rot in prison. Under the countless burning, contemptuous, and angry stares, I slowly rose, my gaze fixed on Chloe. You keep claiming that was my husband. So I ask you, have you ever actually seen Daniel Miller in person before this?